We're already at the fifth SCP. I'm glad. Again, I do like when Sundays are faster reads. Of course, that's beyond my control because I don't know how long each SCP is, but it is nice if Sundays are like a much faster reading time. So, the fifth SCP is called Sibling Rivalry. Okay. Well, we shall dive into that one. My fellow researchers and doctors and O5s and agents, of course, agents. That's what I forgot to say. Secure the subscribe button, contain the like button, and protect the comment section. Let's dive into Sibling Rivalry, which it is short, but it has multiple little interview sections. So let's see what it is. It is the highest rated one so far. Safe. Each member of SCP-1454 is to be housed separately in a standard cell of the type used to contain safe class humanoid SCP entities. Standard rules and regulations pertaining to contained humanoids are to be applied. During good behavior, SCP-1454 may be allowed to perform manual tasks not related to SCP containment in exchange for access to approved entertainment and reading material. SCP-1454 individuals are not to be brought into contact with each other directly or indirectly, except for testing purposes. All members of SCP-1454 are to be kept on standby observation at any time another member is undergoing testing, surgery, or is at a significant risk of life-threatening danger. Use of amnestics or on any SCP-1454 specimen is to be avoided except as a last resort. Ooh, a last resort, you say? Description: SCP-1454 consists of 4 human males designated -1 through 4, each 36 years old at the time they entered Foundation custody in 2000. All 4 are in good health and display no unusual physical impairments. That's why we have 3 interviews, because we have 4 different people. Well, 4 of the same person, I guess. Well, siblings. 4 siblings who all happen to be 36 years old. Well, other siblings now, not. Okay, let's see here. All 4 in good health and display no unusual physical impairments for human beings of their age. DNA testing has indicated that the individuals comprising SCP-1454 are genetically identical to a degree similar to identical twins, but they might not be actual twins or siblings at all. They just happen to be the same person. The members of SCP-1454 possess a short memory. Each SCP-1454 specimen has full access to the memories of every other member and is constantly aware of what the other 3 individuals are doing and experiencing at any given moment. So, trying to like interview them and well, each one individually and trying to like, you know, make the I don't know, interrogate them or in a way that will not tell anything to the other ones is impossible, because they will be immediately aware what they heard or said in the interrogation. Like all the ones who are not involved in the interrogation will immediately know. The means of data transmission between the individuals is unknown. Attempts to block shared memory by imposing physical distance, solar barriers, electrical fields, hallucinogenic drugs, or redacted have all proven unsuccessful. Use of amnestics upon one member of SCP-1454 similarly affects the other 3 with regards to the memories deleted. It reminds me of the Daltons from Lucky Luke, where like, where the smallest one would drink a shot of whiskey, and then like you would see like the second smallest one burp, the second tallest one have a hiccup, and then the tallest one be drunk. Which is like, it was always such a funny idea. Like, oh yeah, we're in so perfect sync that even what I eat goes through my brothers here. It was always such a fun like trope that they did. All 4 members of SCP-1454 act independently of each other in spite of the shared memories possessed by the 4. No evidence of a hive mind or group consciousness has been observed. Individuals have demonstrated no ability to consciously induce another to act. Okay, so they only share memories, but they can't force anybody to like do what the other one wants. But what if they write something on a piece of paper, like saying like run, and then look at it, which then becomes part of the memory, and then the other one, who then shares the memory with, sees that, or like remembers that, and then decides to run. Does that technically count? All 4 members of SCP-1454 have been diagnosed with a unique psychological illness related to their shared mental state. Each individual member of SCP-1454 is unaware that there are 3 other humans identical to him and possessing the same shared memory. Oh, that's interesting. And is of the belief that he himself has personally experienced all the memories that his mind has access to. So what if you put them all in one room? All SCP-1454 individuals are of the belief that this state is typical of human beings, and interviews have neither found it unusual nor made any attempt to explain or rationalize having several simultaneous and contradictory sets of memories. When 2 or more SCP-1454 individuals are brought into each other's presence, each will fail to recognize the other as a duplicate of himself. Okay. And will become extremely confused and agitated as a result, often leading to physical violence. Of course it does. SCP-1454 was discovered by the Foundation in 2000, when all 4 individuals comprising it simultaneously threatened to commit suicide by jumping from the window of 4 separate tall buildings in downtown. Every single one of them, huh? Of course, they share memories, so they all got the same reason, probably. Just different. But how... Isn't that confusing, though, if all 4... at different locations want to jump off a building and they all share the memories of like looking down off the building, but they all have different views of what's down there? Like, isn't that a little bit confusing? Examination of government records found that the individuals who all identified themselves by the name Eric had all lived and worked in the area. All 4 possessed identical driver's license and social security cards, and had filed tax returns each year claiming income from 5 sources. 5 sources. 1 birth certificate, 5 houses, 7 automobiles, 6 college degrees, and 7 marriage licenses were found to be associated with the name. A death certificate was also found to be associated with the name belonging to an individual who has been killed in a drunk driving accident 2 days prior. So there were 5 of them before, but now only 4. Okay. Interview log. -1. Dr. 2012, 37 p.m. Good afternoon. -1. How are you doing today? Great, thanks. And call me Eric. If you insist, I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind. Before you came into our custody, what did you do for a living? I was a lawyer at Redacted, a public relations specialist at Redacted, a freelance photographer, a featured columnist in Redacted, and I owned and operated a small chain of seafood restaurants in the greater area. And what order did you hold those jobs in? All at once. I see. How many hours did you work a week? Just depending on the workload, 195 at the least, but there are times I was putting in a 280-hour week. Are you aware there are only 168 hours in a week, Eric? Of course I am. I think I've earned enough college degrees to know something like that. How is it that you manage to work more hours in a week than there are in a week? Well, I never said it was easy. Sometimes I'd be asleep in bed, or on a vacation I'd still be working all night getting the books squared away. How were you able to work while you were sleeping? Doesn't everyone? No, my man. No, we don't. Oh, that must be so confusing to like. Imagine trying to explain to him how it's actually supposed to work. He would not believe you. Especially because of his life experience. I wonder if this has been like a recent thing for him, or if that has been always a thing. Like, does he always have the shared memories? Ever since he was a child? -2, Doctor. -2 had not been interviewed by or met Doctor prior to this interview. Yeah, but he was probably 9:48 a.m. He probably will talk as if he did. Good afternoon. Good morning, -2. Nice to see you again, Doc. And like I said before, call me Eric. Of course, Eric. Can you tell me how you're doing right now? Great, I'm sleeping in, having breakfast, and reading a great book about redacted. Indeed. I'd like to ask you a few questions about your childhood. Shoot. Did you have any brothers or sisters? No, but there was always these other kids hanging around the house. I don't know why my parents let them in all the time. They were always so mean to me, especially at school. How so? You know how little kids will walk around copying you sometimes to make fun of you, repeat everything you say, dress like you, act like you. They do that to me all the time. They even went around telling people that they were me and I was the copycat. I don't know why. I don't even think they liked each other that much. So he lived with these clones this whole time, or like at least in his childhood he did. That must be confusing as hell for everybody else. Oh god, the amount of amnestics you have to like give to people, because like if this is true, then there's a whole entire like family and school that witnessed these guys. Did you ever tell your parents or your teacher? They never did anything about it. They just laughed or they looked at me all confused. That's why I always spend so much time in my bedrooms, to keep away from them. How many bedrooms did you have? 5, same as everybody. 5, same as everybody. Let's change the subject. Who was your first high school sweetheart? Cindy, Mary, Emma, Kate, and Jane. I asked about your first girlfriend, Eric. Which one of them was first? Kate, I guess, but the rest were my first girlfriend too. How many first girlfriends did you have? We're here to talk about you, Eric. Sorry. Did you marry any of them? No, we all broke up on the same night, actually. How's that? I invited them all to the senior prom. You should have seen the 6 of us like a fairy tale, but it's a damnedest thing. Remember those kids I was telling you about? They were dating them too. Could you explain that? Well, I went to get Kate a glass of punch, and when I was dancing with Cindy, I looked over and saw one of them kissing Emma. Also, I went over to yell at him, and he starts copying me again like when we were little, and he's telling everyone that I stole his dates, and then I see Mary with the other one, arm around her shoulder. I got my ass kicked that night, but I dished out as much as it took. How is he not talking about how confused it must be for everybody else around him? Because, like, I feel like that's an important information. Like, why is the doctor not asking, like, well, what did everybody else think? Well, he did ask about the parents and teachers, and they laughed, apparently. They laughed, and, here, where is it? They just laughed, or they looked at me all confused. That's why I always spend so much time in my bedroom to keep away from them. So is it just from his perspective? But they are physically there, because the Foundation said, the log says if you put them in the same room, they get aggressive towards each other. So they are physically there. How come his parents and his girlfriends never like reacted to any of this? To any of them like seeing 5 of the same person? Interviewed -3, Doctor 2000, 6:38 p.m. Good evening, -3. How are you tonight? Good evening, -3. How are you tonight? Couldn't be better. I'm eating 3 delicious dinners in my room right now, and still Eric. I'd like to talk to you about the day you were arrested, Eric. Why were you up on that ledge? Well, I was a little upset about having died. Excuse me? I died just a few days before that, and it was too much to bear. But you're not dead. Well, of course I am. I remember it distinctly. Please elaborate. I was driving home from the office, and this car on the other side of the road swerved and hit me head on. My seatbelt came undone, and I got thrown through the windshield and landed face first on the pavement. I couldn't move, and I was bleeding all over the place. The paramedics showed up and started talking about how I was going into shock, and they needed to get me to the ER, and I was starting to crash, and then I died. I see. What happened after that? I was pretty upset about it. I called my wives right away, but they didn't understand, so I came home early from work, cancelled my dinner date with my new girlfriend, and caught the first plane back when I tried to be with them. What happened the next day? I went to my jobs and everyone was acting like they had seen a ghost. They were saying they heard about me dying on TV. I saw it in the news myself, but I don't understand why it was such a big deal. Everyone dies for the first time sooner or later, right? They even said they were already making plans for the funeral. Did you go to the funeral? Of course, put on my best black suit with my wife, but I thought that was really set me off. What was that? It wasn't me in the coffin at all. It was one of those other assholes. Here I am dead and they still think it's funny getting themselves killed just to piss me off. I don't explain to my wives, but the rest of them were there too, and they were telling me to leave my wives alone. Like I don't know my own wives. I had enough. I took off and decided if I couldn't even get away from those bastards at my own funeral, maybe they leave me alone if I end it all. God, that is so good. Like, because like I imagine just having to like the mental juggling as a Foundation member to talk to this person must be such a rush. Just like, oh yeah, he sees the other ones as somebody else, but he shares their memories, which he thinks is normal. Because he grew up like that. There's nothing you can do. He legitimately thinks every single memory he makes and the other ones make is his and his alone. But the truth is, it's not. But he will never understand that. He will never understand that the memory he's making, or the memory he's seeing, is from the other 4 hymns. It's basically if Naruto's like shadow clone stayed forever, and they all try to live their own lives, but the memories and thoughts are connected. After a while, it will be so confusing to like know what part of your life is what you actually have done or somebody else done, but you just remember it from their point of view. Oh god, it's it's definitely a mental juggling for sure.